What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
If he were to incorporate skills and magic into the mix, Guy was certain to secure victory. However, he refrained from doing so. Somewhere along the way, he had started desiring a draw rather than an end to their rivalry. That's why he welcomed Rudra's underhanded tactics, but he knew it was only a matter of time. With that in mind, Guy posed a question.
Hey, the first time we fought, why didn't you strike me with a lethal blow? If your intention was to seriously kill me instead of just naming me, you had the opportunity.
That was the one question that had been perplexing Guy. Being a proud individual, he would typically never admit to the possibility of being defeated. For a spiritual life form like Guy to acknowledge that would be tantamount to admitting defeat. That's why Guy had avoided pondering over this question all this time. He didn't believe that Rudra was showing him pity, nor did he want to believe it. If that was the answer, he feared that he would fly into a rage and end up killing Rudra. Just as Guy possessed the skill Lucifer, Rudra had his own skill named Michael. If Rudra had unleashed it from the beginning instead of holding back, there was no telling how the fight would have unfolded. Guy would undoubtedly have sustained injuries, at the very least, and perhaps, just maybe, he could have been defeated.
Oh, that?
Rudra smiled in response to the serious question.
You're quite foolish, aren't you? If I killed you, it wouldn't hold any meaning. I need to make you acknowledge my greatness, abandon your wicked ways, and join me.
Huh?
Guy couldn't comprehend this.
You see, someday I will seize control of the world. It was a pledge I made to Veldanava, the Star King Dragon, who is both my friend and mentor.
Rudra was under the tutelage of Veldanava. Guy was well aware of that fact. The true dragon himself had confirmed it, leaving no room for doubt. However, Guy never anticipated Rudra harboring ambitions of world domination.
Well, you see, the task Veldanava assigned to me was to prevent imbeciles like you from attempting to conquer the world, okay?
I know, that's why Veldanava instructed me to make you accept me.
Damn it, Veldanava, Guy thought. You pushed Rudra onto me because he annoyed you too much, didn't you? That was the answer. Guy could hear Veldanava's voice in his mind, urging him to teach Rudra about reality. Rudra boasted about making Guy submit to him, but in truth, he only ended up here because Veldanava wanted to get rid of him. However, it was already too late. Guy found himself trapped in the dragon's scheme. Since he had developed a liking for Rudra, he was now compelled to see this through to the end. If he hadn't felt any fondness for Rudra, he would have killed him from the start, but there was no point in dwelling on that now. Great, Guy thought wistfully. What a fool Rudra is.
Seriously, when I first confronted you, I couldn't fully control Michael at its maximum power. Even now, I can only utilize it for about 30 seconds.
It was a surprising admission, leaving Guy visibly taken aback.
Oh, come on. That can't be true.
No, it is. The ability is something I borrowed from Veldanava, so...
Rudra shrugged as he continued. Guy listened attentively, and as he did, he experienced two emotions. Firstly, he realized that none of this truly mattered to him, and secondly, Rudra was undeniably a formidable individual. An ability bestowed by Veldanava possessed the potential to defeat someone like Guy. However, as Rudra carried on speaking, Guy began to realize that he had misconceptions about him.
This is a secret, you know, but I'll share it with you and only you. The skill I gained through my own efforts is called Uriel. All the comrades who pledge their allegiance to me, embracing my ideals of conquering the world and such, their collective emotions are pooled together, forming this incredible and ultimate power.
Although Rudra claimed to have earned it by himself, Veldanava apparently lent a hand as well. Nonetheless, it was impressive. Uriel represented the embodiment of Rudra's own heart, and even among angelic-type skills, it stood at the pinnacle of potency.
So, I'm sort of exchanging Uriel for Michael, but the latter is quite burdensome as well. Uriel was remarkably straightforward, you know? The slay and protect abilities associated with it were incredibly easy to handle. However, Michael possesses this ability called Rule that I just can't fully comprehend.
The ability allowed him to borrow the skills of those he ruled over and exert control over them, truly befitting the role of a leader governing his people. However, in his current state of ruling over nobody, it didn't pose much of a threat. He couldn't use his ultimate skill on Guy. Instead, he had to rely on his own tested strength.
Wow, that's quite impressive.
The more individuals he ruled over, the more abilities he would have access to, and Rudra would grow stronger and stronger.
Well, I thought I would become increasingly powerful until I finally defeated him for good. But now we can continue to have fun for a long time.
The prospect of ongoing enjoyment energized Guy. However, Rudra continued speaking.
But you see, I don't have a real desire to rule over others. I'm a man, you know? I want to engage in battles using my own strength. Unfortunately, I find myself unable to do that at the moment.
Oh, really?
No, I suppose you're also friends with Veldanava, so you have the right to know.
Guy started feeling anxious. With Veldanava's long lifespan, he hadn't given it much thought, but now he realized he hadn't seen Veldanava recently.
Has something happened to him?
Well, ordinarily, I would be celebrating it, but... He got married to my sister, Lucia. They're either married or, like, Lucia is currently carrying his child. They're going to be a genuine family.
His child? A true dragon's child?
That revelation came as a surprise. However, considering that a dragon eccentric enough to discard its omnipotent perfection out of boredom might make such a decision, it made sense to Guy.
I suppose these things happen, huh?
Yeah, and as I mentioned, under normal circumstances, I would be happy for them. But that's where the complications arise.
Rudra explained. The subsequent revelation Rudra shared was more than surprising, it was deeply unsettling news. Guy stood up and stared Rudra in the eye, saying, "Really?" It appeared that Veldanava was not so different from a human being at this point. He had informed Rudra, with a slight chuckle, that he was now bound by a lifespan, something he had never experienced before. It was a weighty truth to accept, one that Rudra found difficult to keep to himself, which was why he confided in Guy.
I suppose that's typical of him, but what is he trying to accomplish?
I don't know, that's why I'm so concerned about this. But it's becoming evident that I won't be able to stay here and fight with you indefinitely.
Yeah.
They exchanged glances and let out sighs of frustration.
Stop. I genuinely like you, alright? I have no intention of killing you, and I no longer wish to engage in real battles. However, I must continue being a demon lord to prevent the world from being destroyed. That was my promise to him.
Guy truly had a fondness for Rudra. Anyone who was friends with Veldanava was a friend to him as well. He couldn't bring himself to seriously attempt to kill Rudra, and there wasn't much he could do about it. But he had a duty to fulfill as a demon lord. That was the role entrusted to him by Veldanava. As an arbitrator, he couldn't afford to tip the scales upon which the world rested. With a determined gaze, Guy spoke those words, and Rudra met his gaze unwaveringly.
Alright, shall we play a different game then?
A different game?
Rudra nodded, his usual bashfulness replaced by a deadly seriousness.
Yes. Let's cease direct confrontations. Instead, we'll use pawns and vie for control of the world. Honestly, I don't want to rely on Michael too much, but I don't have a choice. Veldanava granted me this skill to support my dream of conquering the world. I will continue to gather followers, and as I do, I will grow stronger.
I believe you.
Guy nodded, acknowledging the truth in Rudra's words.
And I don't want to kill you either. Remember what I said? I wanted to make you accept me. I believe that humanity can come together as one. Veldanava embraces diversity, but that doesn't mean we have to keep fighting each other, does it? If two individuals with differing opinions can respect and engage with one another, that's great. And if you can't accept someone else's perspective, it's best to maintain a distance. Wars keep erupting because different races and nations acquire weapons they shouldn't have. But if they were all part of the same nation, we could resolve everything through dialogue, right?
You think so? Because, as far as I know, humans are too foolish for that.
I understand your point. But hey, we became friends, didn't we? Demon lords and heroes are supposed to be mortal enemies, and even they can find common ground. If all humans belong to the same race, it should be even easier.
Rudra argued that an arbitrator was unnecessary, but Guy couldn't agree with that.
That's quite wishful thinking. Humans are inherently greedy creatures, not necessarily evil, but driven by their desires to explore the vast opportunities before them. However, when those desires clash, it naturally leads to conflicts. Dumb animals seem to handle their interactions better, don't you think?
If animals that turned into monsters through magic were consistently well fed, they would stop killing other creatures. They didn't possess the cunning nature of humans. They simply lived day by day, seeking pleasure. But humans were always thinking one step ahead, growing anxious, trying to amass wealth to secure their future. It was their instinctual drive, and that's why Rudra's vision of the world seemed like a fairy tale. Guiding people solely through words was an incredibly challenging task. Even conveying one's intentions without being misunderstood was a monumental feat. Guy understood this, which is why he believed Rudra's dream would never come true.
Well, I do understand that. Veldanava dismissed it as idealistic. But I'm persuading people and gaining their support. It's like saying, the chances of success are nearly zero, but go ahead and pursue what you want. And between you and me, Michael possesses an ability called Armageddon, which summons an army of angels that annihilates everything in its path. I can utilize that power to save humanity. I will dismantle all military forces, all civilization, and suppress everyone's excessive desires. And in doing so, I will unite the world. We can achieve it. Together, we can build an ideal world.
Rudra now sought Guy's assistance. He wanted him to cease indiscriminate killings of humans and help nurture this fragile possibility.
Ha! Massacres aren't my hobby or anything, you know. If I dislike someone, I simply eliminate them. Whether they are good or bad doesn't matter to me. If I like you, you live. If I don't, you die. That's all.
That's what I'm urging you to cease.
I don't have the patience to wait for all the world's wicked individuals to realize their wrongdoings. People say things like, hate the crime, not the criminal, but come on. Crime deserves punishment, and it's the criminal's responsibility to face the consequences.
I understand. You're right. I feel the same way too. But I want to give them an opportunity to see the error of their ways.
Oh, alright then. Don't worry, I'll send the souls of the damned to the underworld and subject them to the torment they deserve.
Not like that.
Rudra fell silent, composed himself, and once again bared his soul to Guy.
Listen, I don't want to become a king just to act superior and mighty. I want to bring smiles to everyone's faces. If people have secure places to live and friends they can confide in, it will reduce the number of criminals, won't it? I want to eliminate poverty and inequality. I want to create a world where everyone can live with a smile. That's what I desire. And I know there will always be some stubborn individuals whom you can't reason with, but I'll strive to minimize casualties.
He revealed his ideals to Guy, never imagining that one day in the distant future, one of his enemies would express similar sentiments to him. Guy responded with a pained shake of his head.
No wonder Veldanava finds you amusing. I didn't realize you were so naive. But, well, alright, tell me more about this game you have in mind.
So you'll agree to it?
I was starting to get bored anyway. This game might be more entertaining for me.
It wasn't that Guy was convinced. He wasn't rejecting Rudra's ideals, he simply wanted to see this through to the end. With a friend as stubborn as Rudra, words alone couldn't sway him. Guy was precisely that type, and here Rudra was, attempting to change his mind using words. It was a contradiction from the beginning, destined to fail, and then Rudra would awaken to reality.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Miss L.W. Hernandez, Linnell Scarlett, Khalid, Christian Deshazer, Cal Robs, Divine C. Harris, Panda Cats, Aaron Alarcon, DeAndre Nance, Montyboy98, Karam Faraj. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.